guys, it's Talia from the blog The Pinion Range, and I am so excited to welcome you to my new YouTube channel. I have wanted to start a YouTube channel for years. I've dabbled in it a little bit, but those videos are now archived, so we're just moving onward. I'm really happy to have you here, and I am so excited to show you my kids' new playroom. In this video, I'm going to be showing you the playroom from start to finish, from dingy and dirty and gross to beautiful and warm and inviting and just such a fun new space. I live in a very old 1930s cottage style farmhouse, and it's been updated a little bit, but it still needs a lot of work. We've been gradually going through and updating rooms here and there, you know, painting the walls here and changing out furniture there. We have been married for almost 9 years, which is crazy to think because it feels like it's only been a couple still, but we, you know, are still in the process of trading out our yucky, like old hand-me-down type furniture with newer stuff, and whether that's things we have bought or pieces that Cody has made. He does a little bit of woodwork on the side, and so he is able to make some furniture pieces for me when I need him to. We have been gradually updating, and this playroom area has been bothering me for a long time. Just to start at the beginning, this house that we live in was a rental for a really long time. So the updates were mostly done in the upstairs, and the playroom area is in the downstairs. And we haven't really touched a lot of anything in the downstairs because just people don't really see it. We don't have a lot of people over, and when we do, we usually stay upstairs, mostly because the downstairs is kind of gross and kind of old. So the basement had this really interesting carpet. It was kind of like an outdoor style carpet, and it was kind of not the most beautiful, but it was functional. And for a long time, for a couple of years, it was fine. And we just kind of set Cheyenne up with her little toys when she was littler, and it was fine because she didn't have a lot. But as anyone with kids knows, over the years, you start to like acquire more and more toys, and I was getting more and more bins, putting toys in bins, and then I didn't have the appropriate furniture to store all of it. So I was starting to stack bins on top of each other and on top of each other, and they just kept getting higher and higher. Also, in the course of that time, our washer flooded. I should mention that the playroom area that we have is connected to our washer and dryer area. It's kind of like a washer and dryer nook. And then the playroom area is a, it's not really a room. I shouldn't call it a room. It's like a hallway. It's just kind of a big square hallway, and then there are a bunch of doors, and so not a super easy space to work with, but we were doing what we could. So our washer flooded and got all the carpet soaking wet one day, and we just decided to rip up all of the carpet because it was soaking wet, and it was also kind of gross anyway, so it was a good excuse to get it out of there. We ripped up the carpet, and underneath is a concrete floor, which was fine. I had an extra rug that I wasn't using, and so I laid down this extra rug. It was just like a shag rug, and then I was just continuing to store all of the toys in this space. And then Cheyenne has a little handmade wooden kitchen that Cody made for her when she was 2, and so that was also in there. So I've got bins all over and stuff stacked all over her kitchen, and it just wasn't super great. It wasn't functional. The kids were having a really hard time playing because there was so much junk everywhere, and the bins were stacked so tall that they couldn't get anything out. And if they wanted a specific toy, then they would have to ask me to like get the bin out, and I'd have to take like 5 bins down to get one at the bottom, and it was just a mess. It was really frustrating, but it was kind of one of those things where it was like on the back burner. I had a lot of things going on, so it just wasn't a priority. Luckily, out of the blue, a really cute online boutique called Timber Creek Mercantile reached out to me. They were going to be getting a new line of rugs for spring 2023 from American Dakota. And if you don't know, American Dakota is a Western rug company. They have gorgeous, beautiful Western style rugs. I mean, they have hundreds and hundreds of rug styles, and they're all beautiful. I cannot ever decide which one I like the best because they're all gorgeous. But Timber Creek, they carry American Dakota rugs, and they wanted some to be styled for photos for their new collection that they were going to be carrying. So they reached out to me to see if I wanted to style a rug, and I thought that this was the perfect opportunity to redo this disaster of a playroom space. It worked out really well because the style of the rugs they had in mind, it's all part of their retro cowboy collection. So they had a couple of cute retro cowboy rugs that I thought would fit the space perfectly, and my wheels started spinning, and I started coming up with all these ideas of things that I could do to the space. So I'm gonna show you the rug that I chose for the space, but you have to wait. I'm gonna just show you kind of our process behind how we completely change this space. So the first thing that we had to do was to paint the walls. We already had ripped up the carpet, so that wasn't something we needed to worry about. We just needed to get the walls painted. We still had, like, this is horrible, but we still had some of the carpet, like, tack strips on the edges of the walls that we had to take off. But we got those up, and then I decided to go with a really beautiful color of paint. So it's actually the same color on the wall behind me. I used it to paint my office studio area last summer, and I had some left over. And that is one of the things I want to mention about this, like, transformation. I didn't want to spend a lot of money. As you know, and as everyone knows right now, money is really tight and everyone's pinching pennies, but I just wanted to see how much I had that we could utilize from other projects that we've done in the past, and I didn't want to go crazy and spend a ton. So we had some of this paint left over. I figured that the terracotta would really complement the colors in the rug. The colors in the rug are kind of a turquoisey, like blue color, with some greenish undertones. So the terracotta kind of would be a nice contrast, but also like go really well. I don't know. I was visualizing in my head how it would look, and I must say that it ended up turning out even better than I had visualized. So really glad I chose this terracotta. So after I painted the terracotta on the walls, I painted the trim just a white color, and this white color we've used in several places throughout our house. It's called Navajo white. I love it because it's not, like, I'm not a huge white fan. I like color, but I do like a warm white, and this white has kind of some yellow undertones, so it ends up looking more creamy, and it really takes a space from like being cold and barren to like warm and inviting. So after I painted the doors, the trim, and then I ended up, we bought some baseboards, and we also had some baseboards that we had used upstairs in our kitchen left over. So we used some of that, painted it Navajo white. So after I painted the walls, we actually had gotten a bunch of flooring. So Cody's dad is a general contractor, and sometimes he'll get extra stuff that from his clients that, you know, they didn't end up using or whatever in certain jobs. So we had got a bunch of extra snapped together vinyl flooring, and so we were able to use that in this playroom area. And we have actually had this idea for quite a while, but the flooring has just been sitting in our basement until we were able to get around to doing it. But Cody was able to do the entire playroom area. He went underneath the washer and dryer with it, and he was also able to go into like our little pantry room that is next to the playroom. And so it has this beautiful wood floor. It looks so good against the terracotta walls because it has like a reddish undertone to it. And I am just absolutely overjoyed with how it turned out. It's beautiful, it's easy to clean, and if the kids spill a drink or anything on it, it's like no big deal. It's waterproof, like it's perfect. I have always wanted to paint a mural in my kids' playroom. I just finished up a mural job for Big Brat Boutique, and so I had a lot of paint, like leftover paint mixtures that I didn't want to just like flush down the sink. That paint is still good and it could be used for something. And I was like, well, I could paint a mural on the big wall in the kids' playroom because there would be enough room for it, and it would make it a lot more interesting than just a blank wall and then trying to hang a bunch of pictures. I love the national park posters where they're kind of like that old graphic style. And so I was like, well, I know I want to do that style because I love how it looks, and I love how it looks in like for murals. It took me a while to decide which landscape I wanted to depict on this wall. I wanted it to be something that was really meaningful to our family and something that the kids would like recognize. So I ended up deciding on a place that we like to go camping a lot. So it's one of our favorite vacation areas. So I ended up using some pictures I had taken of that area for reference, and then I added some elk because Cody really wanted some elk on the wall. We love elk in our family and our kids love them, And so I did a little elk herd with a bugling bull, and it's during the fall, so it's got the beautiful golden aspens with the blue sky, and that contrast is just so beautiful. So while I was creating the digital design, I was really worried about the colors clashing with the terracotta that I had painted. I didn't want to do anything that was going to look weird, and so I tried to make sure everything would complement it, and I must say everything looks so good. Like, it just blended perfectly. I'm actually going to be doing another video on that mural process, a little bit more in depth, so I'll probably release that one next week, and it will have like my full process of how I created that mural design and, you know, all of the trial and error that I had to go through in completing it. There's not a lot of wall space in this playroom area, so you have to be a little bit creative with how you're doing things. I wanted there to be more vertical type storage, but you know, there's going to be some things that you need in a playroom, and there's no like denying that. First of all, I had to make sure that there was room for Cheyenne's little kitchen that she has. And then one thing that I was really like adamant about was I wanted a toy box, like a big old toy box, so that the kids could put all of the dress up clothes. Because when I was a kid, I used to go over to my aunt's house, and they always had like a huge box with all of the dress up in it, so that the kids could just get in there anytime and pull out dress up. And because dress up is really important for imaginative play, and I like kids to be able to access the dress up all the time. I mean, at first I had my heart set on a vintage trunk, like wooden trunk that was like antique and beautiful and all that. Well, here in Utah, those are pretty hard to come by without spending a lot of money. I was hoping that I would hit some of like the spring cleaning on Facebook Marketplace, but it just wasn't hitting at the right time, and I couldn't find anything. I kind of looked around, looked at some antique stores. I found some things, but they just were not the right dimensions. They were too small or too big or too long, and there's only one space in the whole playroom that it could have fit. I ended up talking to Cody, and I talked him into making a custom-made toy box. So he was able to make it to the exact dimensions for the spot I wanted to put it, and then I was able to have him make it a little bit taller. So my idea for the toy box was that I wanted it to be big enough to put all their toys in, or not their toys, but their dress up, and then I wanted them to be able to sit on top of it and have it be like double as like a reading nook, or if they want to, they can set up other toys like on top of it while they're playing. So Cody built me a beautiful toy chest, and he made it all by hand, and it's more beautiful than I could have ever imagined it would be. It's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted, and it fit all of the dress up and even more. There's tons of room in it. And then on the top, we are able to have that be the little reading nook. I needed some open toy shelving. So I am obsessed with Pinterest and I have so many pictures of these beautiful open shelving inspo, you know, like the neutral nursery type thing or neutral playroom, because I love that stuff. But obviously, like, I do love a little bit of color and I love Western flair. So the way that I do things is not ever gonna look like those. But I was taking a lot of inspiration from the open shelving, kind of like Montessori style, like shelving. I wanted to make a space that was easy for them to play independently so that I can be doing other things in a different room down here, but they're able to play and get out the toys that they want, and I don't have to worry about big bins like falling over on them. So I had Cody build some open shelving, and then on the shelves, I wanted to have little baskets full of toys, and then have a few toys that were just like out, so that my little Briggs, he's almost 2, I wanted him to be able to, you know, go over to the shelf, get a basket off the shelf of whatever toys, know that it's not gonna like totally dump out on top of him and, you know, hurt him, or he can reach up and get some toys off the shelf that he can see. Because that's another important thing with children, is you want things to be fairly open so that they can see the shelves and see the toys on the shelf, because then they'll be more drawn to go and play with it. Whereas if it's all just in these little bins and it's all tucked neatly away, they aren't enticed to play because they can't see anything. They need those visuals to like cue them to go play with it. We have the baskets and we have the toys just open on the shelves. I also wanted to have a couple of baskets for stuffed animals, and then my other thing was I wanted a bookshelf, because I really love books and I'm a book collector, and it's kind of hard to find spaces for all of the books that I have. I wanted books to be incorporated into their playroom so that, you know, if they got bored of playing with toys, they could grab a book, go sit on their toy box reading nook area, just be cozy and comfy reading a book. So this was another thing I found on Pinterest, and it was like, I think I called it like a magazine storage container thing. And I looked online for weeks trying to find one that was just what I was looking for, and I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. And I'm gonna have to have Cody build this too. So he built me a bookshelf with 3, I guess you would say tiers, but I hung it low enough so that my little Briggsy could get books from his level, and then Cheyenne can reach the other 2. The very last thing that Cody built for me was I really wanted a shelf to go above the toy box. So I wanted a shelf with hooks so that they could hang some dress up the items on there, or I could hang them out so that they're like out and the kids can see them. And then on top of the shelf, I wanted it to be flat so that I could put like some of their Breyer horses and like some Western art prints and things on top of the shelf. And that was also impossible to find. I could not find anything that was exactly what I wanted, and everything was really expensive. So I ended up finding some railroad spike hangers at Hobby Lobby, and we had some leftover wood. And so I just had Cody make a shelf out of that. After Cody built everything and got it hung, we were able to put down the rug. And it looks so good. I love it so much, and I am so thankful for Timber Creek Mercantile. The retro cowboy rug that I chose is the blue one, and it's got some really fun like paint by number style cowboys riding bucking horses on it, and it really just added a huge pop of color to the floor, and it helped kind of give the kids like a centered area between like the toy chest and their kitchen and the shelving, but just a really fun place for them to kind of like get their toys and put them out. The other thing I love about this rug and why it's perfect for a playroom is because it's short, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like the shag rug that I had, or it's not like the carpet that they have in their, or we have upstairs where it's a little bit longer. It's really, really hard for them to play with toys on the longer carpet or rugs because nothing stands up. Like, you can't stand up their little animals, or they can't stand up their fences. We have a whole ton of farm toys and animal toys, but this rug makes it so easy because it's like really short and it's flat. It lays really nicely, and it also vacuums up great. If you want to go check out Timber Creek Mercantile's retro cowboy rug collection, head over to their website. I will have a link in my description where you can go and find this exact rug for your space. The size that I got is the 5x8, and which is great. It fits our room perfectly. We have a really small little room, but they do have a bigger size, and they have some other smaller sizes that you can get. And also on Timber Creek Mercantile's website, they have free shipping on all of their rugs. So that's a really, really good deal. So I would definitely go over there. They have a couple more colors in this retro cowboy rug, and then they also have a couple of different styles. And you got to check out the rest of the stuff on Timber Creek Mercantile's website because they have some really, really cute Western home decor, and I'm pretty much obsessed with all of it. I am so glad that you made it through this video, and I hope you love the space as much as I do. I will be posting this on my blog, thepinionrange.com. There you'll find links to all of the places that I found stuff wherever I bought anything, as well as the link to find this rug at Timber Creek Mercantile. And all of the information will also be in the description of this video. Make sure to click the button and subscribe, and I'm really excited to be bringing you some new videos with tons of Western home inspiration. So make sure to follow along, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.